शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधे वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Om Namo Venkatesaya. My pranams to everybody. So we've been looking at chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan is talking about Atma Samyanya Yoga, that is Dhyana Yoga, where Bhagavan meticulously giving details of how should one perform the meditation, and also what are the things that will happen to the person once he starts performing the Dhyana Yoga properly. So that's what we saw. So now I think we'll move on to Sloka number 25. Shanaihi Shanaihi.
शनैः शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्.
So Bhagavan is talking practical way of doing it. That is Shanaihi Shanaihi. That means very slowly and slowly, gradually, step by step, not doing too fast, because this mind control is the most difficult task in this entire universe, and therefore you got to do it slowly but steadily. So that means you can't do it today and then give up for 1 week and then start doing it again. So Shanaihi, so regularly and then steadily. Shanaihi Uparamet Buddhya. Uparamet, that means one should hold back. That means one means hold back. Buddhya Dhriti Grihitya. That means you should hold all other thoughts and then slowly by means of this intelligence, that is because of through this Dhriti means firmness. That means you should be steadfast in reaching your goal. So that means you must be very firm about that. Dhriti Grihitaya. Dhriti Grihitaya means carried away by that kind of a conviction. Atmastam Manaha. That means Atma means in the Jivatma, Stam means staying there. The Manaha. The mind should be residing in this Jivatma. Slowly, with firm conviction in mind that yes, I should do that and I will do that. So the mind should be, the buddhi should be slowly brought under control, and then through the buddhi bring the mind under control and keep the mind in this Atmastam, Atmasamstam. Atma means in this Jivatma's Samyakstam, that's very well deep-rootly established. So mind should be deep-rootly established in the Jivatma. And kinchidapi chinte, that means there should not be any other thought. Don't think of anything else. The only sole purpose of the entire meditation exercise is bringing the mind under control through the buddhi. Have the firm conviction, yes, I can do that. Then slowly but steadily, keep the mind firmly established in this Atma Tattvam, that is the Jivatma Tattvam, and don't have any other thought outside. That means that is a single pointedness. Single pointedness of meditation is only to bring the mind under control and establish it deeply in this Jivatma Swarup. That's all that is required. You should not think of any other thought. There should not be any ekagra. Initially Bhagavan said the first thing it was ekagra. Ekagra is the single pointedness. The single pointedness in this case is keeping the mind absolutely under control, and then bringing it under keeping it in this Atma Tattvam, which will obviously bring you the enormous amount of bliss. Some of the portion of it which we enjoyed yesterday. So when we had other meaning of Atma also can be Bhagavan. Atma means one's own self, or Atma can also mean Bhagavan. So Bhagavan also said in earlier sloka, Matchitta. Matchitta means always thinking about me. Matchitta Matparayana. Matparayana means taking me as the goal. So that means the goal is reaching Bhagavan and then keeping the mind under the control of Bhagavan. That is what is meditation ultimately. So there should be no other thought. So slowly, of course, it's not so easy to get the mind away from, because we have got thousands and thousands of thoughts. So we'll have to slowly bring it under control. And of course, the other things which can help us are, the various kinds of pranayama, then this, this sattva, that is chanting the Vishnu Sahasranam, so many other things, slowly, ahara niyamam. So Bhagavan also said, no, so you can't, people should neither be fasting nor be glutton. So that is this, the moderation is the key. Example is, supposing you want to play a violin or a stringed instrument like veena. No, the string of that veena or the violin cannot be too tight. If it is too tight, then once you put your bow immediately, or put your finger, it will completely, get, burst off. On the other hand, if it is too slow also, you cannot get the music out also. That is the moderation. So moderation is what is required, in both in terms of the sleep as well as in terms of the food and other things. So those kind of things ultimately help you to control the mind and bring it under control, keep it with the Jivatma. That's what Bhagavan is talking. Let's move on to Sloka number 26.
यतो यतो निश्चलति मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरम् ततस्ततो नियम्यैतद् आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत्.
So yesterday somebody asked the question, how do I bring, because single point, because the mind wanders about it. That's what Bhagavan is saying. Yataha, yataha, that means whenever or wherever, from wherever, nischalati, that means the mind becomes completely agitated. Manaha becomes agitated. Chanchalam mind's body is wavering only. The mind is always compared to the monkey. Monkey, when it looks at something, it will pick onto that. Then immediately if it's something else, then it will leave this and go to something else. So like that, mind will think of something else immediately. Through that thought, some other thought will come, some other thought. So it goes on again and again. Chanchalam. Chanchalam means, not fixed in one thing, but keeps on moving around. That is chanchalam. Chanchalam asthiram. Asthiram means it is not very firmly established. So this is the nature of the mind. Nature of the mind over several millions of years that you have been doing is, moving from one thought to another, one thought to another, one thought to another. That has been the nature of the mind. So whenever that mind becomes agitated and keeps on moving around, what you should do? Tataha, then and there, niyamya. That means bring it under, bring this mind under Atmaniyava. That means bring that mind back into the Atmani, the Jivatma Swarupam or the Paramatma Swarupam. Bring the mind back into that Vasham. That means it will keep on moving. It's not that so easy. So only thing is you must be conscious and aware of that. All that is required is that means your mind must be, your intellect must be very active. Intellect must be very sharp. As and when the mind wanders, bring the mind under control. Bring the mind back to its position. Whenever it goes off, bring it back. Then over a period of time, the mind will automatically come into this and settle down in this. So that is the practice you have got to do. So only thing is you should not travel along with the mind. Once you travel with the mind, then you will keep on roaming around this entire universe. So your intellect must be active to know that the mind is wanting. So bring it back into the Atma Swarup, establish in Atma. Similarly, when the mind again goes back, then bring that mind into this Atma. So keep on doing it again and again and again. That is the kind of practice that Bhagavan is suggesting. Yato hi nischalati manas chanchalam astiram. So that the nature of mind is like that because of its over a past so many millions of years it has been only practicing. It has been like that only. So thereafter you'll have to keep on bringing them. Whenever it wanders, bring the mind back to its own original position, which is this Atma Swarupam or the Paramatma Swarupam, whichever is comfortable to you. Bring that mind again back and back and back and back. So practice this continuously. Then over a period of time, the mind will get into control. That's what he's saying. Sloka number 27.
Prashantamanasam hyenam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti shantarajasam brahma bhutama kalmasham.
So over a period of time, what happens? Prashanta manasam, the mind becomes absolutely quiet. So that means it has moved away from all the wandering around the various thoughts and then started settling down in one particular thought only. Then it becomes absolutely quiet. Prashanta manasam, akalmasham. Akalmasham means it becomes absolutely pure. The mind also becomes pure. Because of the dirtiness of the mind only, it keeps on moving around to different thoughts and all those things. So then the mind gets purified by different processes. One is, of course, doing the karma yoga. When we are doing karma yoga, the mind becomes pure. That is one. Other ways, chanting the Bhagavan's name, etc. So all those things will slowly bring down the impurity in the mind, and the mind becomes akalmasham, becomes slowly becoming pure, and also becomes quiet, prashantarasa. So that means, as he told you, the sun's rays will get beautifully reflected only when the water in the surface must be pure. And also it must be still. That means it should not be like the waves it is moving around. Then the reflection won't be properly there. So that means the mind is also like that. The water in the wave, water in the lake. So you'll have to first purify that water. That means all this the kalmasham and all those things can be removed by practicing the karma yoga as well as the nama sankirtan and so on. The mind becomes pure. Then the water becomes pure, clear. Then also, if the water keeps on, along with the wind, it is having that wavy, there's a lot of waves, it is not still, then also reflection will not be good. So that is what is, through this, the settling down, it is surrendering at the feet of the Lord, then the mind becomes ekagram, ekachittam. So that means it doesn't go, it becomes settled down in only one. So then in that pure mind, which is quiet, then this the Paramatma Swarupa and the Atma Swarupa will absolutely shine in that, and then the mind will be able to enjoy that kind of a bliss. That's what he's saying. Prasanta Manasam, Akalmasham, Brahma Bhutam. So that means you become Brahma, that is Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. That's what the Upanishad says, Mundaka Upanishad. That means one who knows becomes Brahman. That's not Brahma Bhutam. So that means then you know that you're absolutely the Jivatma conscious. Jivatma and nothing other than that Jivatma. This body, mind, and intellect are only what an instruments given by God to you, and they are not you, and therefore Brahma Bhutam. Having identified yourself with that Brahma, that is the Jivatma, then what happens? Yoginam, Yenam, Sukham, Uttamam. So that means he's enjoying that beautiful, this the happiness Sukham, as well as Upayite Shanti Rajasam. That means he's free from that Rajas and becomes absolutely Shanti. That means quiet. So the quietude of the mind as well as the bliss are the two results of a purified and then a single pointed mind. That's what Bhagavan is talking about. So the process required for us is purify the mind, then still the mind. These are the two things required. The results are you identify yourself with the Jivatma, and that will bring you the quietude as well as the bliss. That's what Sukham Uttama. That's what he's saying. So let's move on to Sloka number 28.
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते.
So now he is again repeating the same point. Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha. That means absolutely purifying his, this mind free from all this, dirts and then impurities. Vigata Kalmashaha. Yunjan Evam Sadatma. That means you should keep on practicing this Dhyana Yoga. Sada, always. That means every day you should keep practicing this Dhyana Yoga. Atmanam Vigata Kalma. That means this mind without purified from this all this dirt. You should practice this, Dhyana Yoga every day, always. Then Sukhena Brahma Samsparsan. Of course, the Dhyanam is only you over a period of time you practice for half an hour or something. Thereafter, the mind will automatically, once it becomes quiet, it will always remain in that Atmic consciousness. That is why he's saying Sada means always. So that means always you will be practicing. That means always he will be in that Brahmic consciousness, and therefore he's always in meditation. That means in the sense he's always united with that already. So that is what Bhagavan is saying. Sada Atmanam Sukhena Brahma Samsparsan. Samsparsan, that means having touched. Person means touch. Having touched that Jivatma Swarupam, Sukhena, with a lot of bliss and happiness, he is enjoying. Atyantam means unending. Antam means end. Atyantam means unending. Sukham, bliss. Ashnute, he is enjoying. That means he is consuming, he is eating. Ashnava always means eating. That means this is consuming. That means he is enjoying. He is enjoying that kind of an Atmic bliss. So if one removes the mind from all the impurities and starts practicing this Dhyana Yoga regularly, then over a period of time, that person, having touched or having become one with that Jivatma Swarupam, he completely always enjoys this Atmic bliss, and therefore he will be ever in the state of bliss. That's what Bhagavan is taking. That is the benefit of doing this Dhyana Yoga regularly. So we'll continue the discussion tomorrow. Vasudevam Devam Kamsa Chanura Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Krishna 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 Krishna.